All right, what if your client said, this is awesome, but I just want the head? All right, so just like last time, we're going to take the head from the remove background image and put it into a new graphic with Photopea and Photoshop using slightly different methods. So let's do it. Let's go back and download our image. So you can get any image and just hit remove background and then try to get the head from the image. But I'm going to continue from my previous example. So this is a Firefly, Adobe Firefly generated image with a reference image of the Lobo Seawolf. So mascot. So okay, so download it. And get it on your desktop ready to go. Okay, and then let's get it into Photopea. All right, I'm gonna X out of my last example. Okay, and drag my PNG in. All right, and then I am going to Command 0, zoom in a little. And I'm going to continue spacebar with my first finger, middle finger on command, and start zooming in so I don't have to kind of squint. All right, that looks good. So I noticed there's a spot missing from the ear. It looks like some remove background got a little too aggressive. So I'm going to make a new blank layer and come over here to the spot healing brush tool and make it just the size of that little transparent pixel area, and then make sure I'm sources on all layers and click, and doesn't do the best job, but all right, I'm just gonna live with it. So I think Photoshop does a little better job, but when I zoom back out, it'll look fine, and it would just look bad if it was on like a bright green background and there was a hole in the ear, but in our case doesn't look so bad. All right, so let's get the quick select tool. Actually, let's do Command Shift Option E, merge visible to the top, and then eyeball off the other two layers. So we're just working on this fused or merge visible. So now the healed pixels are included in the image, the top layer. All right, so going on with the quick selection. All right, so I'm going to click on the head, and you see the marching ants go around, but they go all the way down the shoulder. So I'm going to hold Option, which toggles between the add to and remove from or subtract and add modes of the tool. And so Option click, and it does a pretty good job. So the marching ants go across the bottom, and I can add my layer mask. So the only problem is there's kind of this bright blue right where the body is. It's a halo, right? It's the shiny outer edge that masking photographer people don't like. And we don't really have, you could mess with this refine edge. I didn't really find it too helpful. But what I did find helpful was coming in here to the blur tool, click and hold, going to the smudge tool. And then if you're targeting your black and white layer mask, and you're basically shifting it up if you smudge it upwards. So I'm going to click and move it a little, right? And so I'm kind of just shifting. So I still get some of that hair detail, the furriness, but I'm getting rid of that kind of chunky outer edge. And I'm just doing a little bit at a time and a little movement, so not to kind of make anything too drastic. So this is an old Deke McClellan trick on fur. And I don't know, you can try it on some other spots if you think it's helpful. So, all right, but I think now when we zoom back out to Command 0, it's going to look good. Maybe I could go back and touch up a little bit more, but I think it looks pretty good. So there's the head with, I forgot to do File, Save as PSD. Let's call this, add some more letters to it. And then File, Save More, PSD to Storage, Save. All right, so now I got my my AI Lobo head, and over to Photoshop. So there's my last work, but now I got this new PNG to drag onto Photoshop, and Command 0 to zoom in, and spacebar to get the hand, middle finger on Command, start clicking, swoop. Yeah, sometimes it's easier just to use these, and then Command plus to zoom in. All right, so add a new layer, and there's that hole in the ear. So I'm going to target the new layer and come to my, oops, wrong tools, the spot healing brush tool. And then sample all layers is checked. My brush is about the size. And click, and that does a much better job, so happy with that. Merge them, Command-Shift-Option-E. Eyeball off the bottom two, because we're done with those. And then quick select tool. And start from the top. Painting. So this is a little bit slower, right? The tool's different behavior than in Photopea. And if you go too far, then you hold Option to toggle between the plus and minus, add and subtract. And all right, and then add your layer mask. Okay, so ooh, I lost a little something happened there. So all right, so let's go into select and mask mode, which puts you in a different interface. The tools change, the sidebars change. And so, right, so we're still looking at the layer mask. Right, there it is, and I got some problems in here. But I'm looking at this bottom edge again. And so I'm going to go back and come here to the, make sure I'm in the refine mode, set to color, not object. Okay. There's two modes, and then you get this tool over here, the Refine Edge Brush tool. And, oh man, I got my, right, and then you can come in and just paint kind of across this chunky edge. And it almost smudges it, right? It kind of gets rid of that pixelated stair step, and it'll get you a little more fur detail. See, so on the left here, that's pretty good fur detail. And I just use it, I only use this tool just to do that. I could go back to this other view. Let's go marching ants or on white. And I could kind of do a little bit more, like if you think this is a problem, some of the blues, you could try to paint around the edge a little more. But so my last example with the professor was more of a hard edge. It was like it looked more like a vector illustrator cartoon image. There was no fur. So sometimes you have to use different tools. All right, and so now I'm going to go back the old school way, painting with black and white. So let me get my brush tool with the B key. You're just tapping on it and making sure I'm painting with white. And then I can come in here and with the, let's see, brush, 90% hardness is fine. And I can paint. So I could option click and kind of get in here a little more and clean it up. I don't know what happened with the marching ants. So the marching ants are just a visual representation or estimate of what you're going to select. It's not precisely exact. And then option click again. Something going on in that part of the ear too, right? So, all right, that's fine. So it looks good though, right? I got maybe a little bit of blue coming through in there, blue halo, but over here it looks kind of like a furry edge, looks good. And if I wanted to, right, I could come on and get my smudge tool and do that same trick, right bracket to make the brush a little bigger, and then kind of bring in the edge a little. So I'm happy with that. I guess I'll save it. File save. Save as. Desktop. Maybe Live 2 or something. Desktop, Photoshop, document, PSD, looks good. Okay. And actually I want to get a PNG so I can just quick get it back into Adobe Express. No, I said cancel. I want to file export. Export, quick export as PNG. Why is it saving it? All right, so file, export. Maybe because it has the layer mask, it thinks I'm trying to save a file. All right, file, export, export as, and then get a PNG with transparency. Looks good. It doesn't like the name, and it doesn't like why I keep getting this PNG. Oh, because I'm confusing myself. All right, so all right, file, save as. It did export. It's adding PSD on my file extension for some reason. All right, so save it. File, export. Quick export as PNG. And that looks good. All right, I don't know what was happening there with Photoshop, but I should have a PNG with just the head. I think I've done it a couple exports now, so I might have heads everywhere. But let me get that one and bring it back into Adobe Express and make a new page. Bring in my head I just edited. And kind of center it. And option drag a corner out and reposition it. And then go and get my type, copy it, and paste it. And it looks good to me. Hope you had fun, and I look forward to seeing your AI heads.